In the heart of Galway is a large park known as Ayr Square, or John F. Kennedy Memorial Park. It's a huge area that on the weekends is just filled with people hanging out or playing some soccer. There's also a number of statues scattered around town dedicated to the famous authors of Ireland. On the end of the park is a pretty decent playground. Now, I know in a lot of these videos we talk about playgrounds over and over again, but the truth is, when you're traveling with kids, there's only so many churches, art museums, and graveyards that they're going to stand. You need a place for them to get their wiggles out. In 1965, this park was actually the site of the visit of John F. Kennedy. He was the first American president to come here during his term in office. Now, I shot this video in the early morning walking through the streets of the Latin Quarter in Galway. It's a place where people like to gather for restaurants, pubs, and shopping. But the truth is, during the daytime, this place is a lot busier. Now, nothing to take away from the city of Galway. We had a lovely time. But it was around this point in the tour that I started to realize that the best of Ireland isn't in the cities where all the tourists go, but rather it's best to get outside and see the countryside. Still, I highly recommend Galway. It was a ton of fun, including visiting this store, which claims to be the original creator of the Clawda ring. Now, it may be a tourist trap, but I fell for it, and I ended up buying 2 of them. In the back of the store is a museum dedicated to the history of the ring. They've got a ton of old artifacts there. They even have rings from the 1700s. Now throughout Galway, you'll find a lot of other little hidden gems, like this bookstore, or this pub in the Latin Quarter that has a ton of history and claims to be over 800 years old. But my favorite place of all was O'Connell's, just off of Ayr Square. Even though it seems small in the front, there's a nice little snug in the back for live music, and it opens up to an enormous beer garden in the back that you can't at all see from the street. They even have pizza that you can buy at the back of the bar. Charlie was a big fan. They also pour a decent pint of Guinness, just in time for me to attempt splitting the G again. Success! At the end of the Latin Quarter is a large riverfront. That's a great place to take a stroll with your family. Just be careful because your kids may be tempted to climb down on the rocks like mine did. The next morning was our tour to the cliffs of Moher. Along the way, we got to see a lot of the countryside, as well as traditional Irish homes with thatched roofs, red windows, and doors. You even get to see the burren. It's a pretty stark landscape, but very impressive. On our tour, we also got to check out Dungair Castle. It sits alongside a big bog, and you can see where the old Irish probably collected their peat moss for their turf fires in the winter. Now, word to the wise, there's a small little pathway that goes all the way around the castle. Don't take it. It doesn't take you anywhere. You just literally circle the castle and waste your time. It's probably better just to watch from the outside. Thankfully, we were able to circle the castle in time to get a family photo outside before heading off to lunch in Dublin at a local hotel. Now, pro tip, when you're traveling with kids, bring a box of Legos. It's a healthy way of keeping them distracted while waiting for your food, and you can eat in peace. At the bottom of the Cliffs of Moher is a large tourist center that gives you access to one of 2 pathways to be able to see the cliffs. You're really not going to get a bad view, and they are stunning. Fortunately, we had great weather to view the cliffs, but one of the issues we ran into were there were a ton of bugs at the top. I don't know if it was just the time of year that we were there, but bring some bug spray. Still, the cliffs are absolutely beautiful to look at. After a long day of travel, it was time to go back to O'Connell's for another pint. But to be honest, splitting the G is harder than it seems. Thanks for watching our video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos that we may post on our travels abroad. Thank you for watching.